Steady. You good? Okay.
Devon, you were an amazing influence in my life when I was a first year teacher at Fannie C. Williams, and you saw this young white kid from Michigan coming down trying to save the world,
Hmm.
and you said, "No, sit down before you like blow up, and let me tell you a few things." And you showed me so much love that you even referred to yourself as my mother. Oh, Mama, I should call you
Mom.
Mama. Yeah. And now you're a principal here in Jefferson Parish. So I see you as a person that I really try to emulate and look up to. How do you think this country, or just in your school or in your regular life, how do you think we need to make space for our differences and still act lovingly, noticing the differences, but moving through them to find a place where we can all appreciate and love on one another?
The space is being able to embrace your differences.
Mm-hmm.
Part of being able to embrace your differences is just being able to talk about it. If there's
Mm-hmm.
something one set does differently than the other, to have that braveness to just say, why do you celebrate this holiday? What is Cinco de Mayo? To embrace somebody's differences and to be able to talk, to
Mm-hmm.
openly talk. I think a problem we have is that if we don't know something about a particular race or culture, we just choose not to know.
Mm-hmm.
We'll invent stereotypes about
Mm-hmm.
it because we don't have knowledge of it,
Yeah.
But the ability to just stop and say, hi, why do you celebrate this? Or,
Mm-hmm.
can I be a part of this? I, New Orleans is so we have so many different festivals
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we do.
different cultures, different races. I love the Greek festival, and
Mm-hmm.
now each year I go, I learn a little more about
Mm.
different cultures and different experiences. So I think a lot of getting over what our nation is going through right now is just having the ability to talk and
Mm.
not be afraid to ask a question when you don't know.
Mm.
I think that's very important.
Mm. Yeah, is there so do you think something we were just talking about before I push play
Okay.
was we were talking about how like anti people of color racism, right? Like so like treating people with brown skin in less dignified ways or hurtful or even hateful ways. Do you see that as possibly hurting people that look like me? Do you see that as that ways that actually hurts us as a whole nation?
I do because typically people who are hurt
Hmm.
have a hard time forgiving and forgetting.
Mm.
So when you've been hurt by a person of a different race, you tend to not be healed properly. So you
Mm.
take anger and anxiety that you have inside of you and you do it towards your fellow man.
Yeah.
For instance,
Mm.
some white person may have hurt me, and instead of me getting the proper justice for being hurt,
Mm.
then I decide to hate all white people.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, is what's happening now.
Mm.
You see one injustice and it's one race against another,
Mm.
and then that the healing process doesn't happen. So we're reacting to
Yeah, it's
things.
all reactionary.
Instead of being proactive,
This is what
we're
we're trying to do now. We're
reacting.
trying to be proactive and set tables and getting to know each other and talking across differences. We were also just reminiscing, 17 years ago?
Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a long time.
You've been my mama for a long time. Did you see a change? I mean, I'm not talking about me as a person more so, but you can talk about it however you want. But what did you see me starting as, and where did you see me progressing towards in terms of what does it really take for
Mm.
people to actually break down their fears of one another and build trust? Like,
Mm.
how did you approach that with me?
You and I talked earlier about colorblind and color brave.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And I could say, in my terminology, I saw a young man who was colorblind. You didn't see me as black. You didn't see yourself. You just saw a set of kids who needed to be
Mm-hmm.
taught, and you wanted to teach them. But you became color brave because one of your questions was, as you were struggling as a young teacher, was, well, how do I get to them? And I said, you have to get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who New Orleans East is, what New Orleans East is,
Mm-hmm.
what their culture is, what they like. And in that instance, you became color brave. You became able to talk to them one on one. You became able to talk to the parents. You wanted to know what makes those kids tick So you found out what make the parents tick. As you got to know them, they became able to share with you and love you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you got invited to more dinners than I did as the principal because you became color brave. You went into those neighborhoods, you went into those homes, and you got to know the kids. And the kids have still become better adults because of that. Because now they're color brave, you know.
Do you think that with all that's going on in the country right now, do you think those kinds of moments are still possible?
They are possible. They're possible if we continue to educate people to love each other. Don't see past somebody's race or see past somebody's culture, see past somebody's disability. And we as a nation are going to have to continue to try to love each other, to educate ourselves on each other so that we can continue to grow. Because right now we're at a still. And somebody, maybe your organization, will help us to heal because that healing process has to take place before positive change can.
So when my girls are teenagers and they're driving me crazy, can I send them to your middle school?
So they can drive my kids crazy, right? I know your girls. Mom would like to have our granddaughters around. Yeah, I would.
Thanks, Davon.